There are a lot fewer two-parent families.
What's worth more, $1 today or $1 tomorrow?
Almost nobody gets out of love alive.
Prisoners' rights is out of sight, out of mind.
Is your brain on God?
You ain't ready to
There are discussions
how
as
they thought
black families have to have them.
What's worth more, $1 today or $1 tomorrow? What's worth more, $1
Welcome, folks, to your Reality Gurus, the show where we take a commonsensical approach to issues through complex conversation. I'm your host, G. Cleve, and we about to get into the commercialization of black consciousness, aka being woke. Got a few fellas here that's going to discuss this with me. Listen, Anyae, Andy, DB, Reality Gurus. What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling this morning?
What up?
Good. Let's go.
All right, okay, so I'll put it out there, black consciousness, aka, being woke. How you guys feel about, since it's real popular now, I think this is being exploited somehow, it's being diluted. What y'all think about that in the mainstream, as far as black consciousness?
I think that it's now a corporate tool to kind of extract resources from people of color, to kind of pull on their heartstrings. And I think a big example of that shit was Black Panther. And I was one of those people, everybody was like, oh, you that conscious, oh, you the conscious extremist, oh no, this is for us, this and that. And I was like, this is a Disney film. Get the fuck out of here, right? These were the same niggas out showing you Beauty and the Beast with they fucking Stockholm syndrome. They would show you a whole bunch of crazy shit, manipulating our fucking hearts and minds as we were growing up. And I was supposed to believe that Disney has our best interests at heart. I don't believe that, sir.
I appreciate that. Hey, how you feel about it, man?
It's exploitation 101. That's what this country was built on. They started off exploiting this. They're going to continue exploiting this, man. Just like you said, they play us through our emotions, through our feelings, because it feels like they're giving us something. This is for us. This is for the culture. They don't give a fuck about the culture. All they give a fuck about the dollar, man.
That mighty dollar, right? Yeah, well, look like you echoing Andy's. Seems like you echoing Andy's sentiments. So now, DB, how you feel about that, man?
I mean, I agree with the exploitation of it. This is my question though, because like you bring up Black Panther, and I think about like shows like Insecure and like Dear White People and all these other black shows, which we know is run by corporations, which we know a lot of producers and all that stuff produces the show is white. But I wonder, because a lot of the voices still is black. So like if we think about like Black Panther, you have Ryan Coogler who co-wrote it with another black person, which is their voice. I wonder if it could be said that the voice is authentic if it's coming from a black person, but it's being manipulated for profit by bigger corporations.
Interesting. And you're talking about when you are you referencing Black Panther?
Well, I reference Black Panther as an example, but like I said, you have Insecure, which is written by Issa Rae, who was a black person who got a little bit of that wokeness. Dear White People, which is written by a black gay guy, I think, who has a little bit of wokeness in some of the scripts. Like you have a few of these black shows, like even like Get Out. I can't say Jordan Peele is necessarily woke, but has that. But it's still a black guy. He's biracial, but he's still got that little black part where he's talking about some of these issues. So it's still coming from a black voice. So I'm wondering if there's a split in between there. Like if these people might sort of be authentic because they're still living a black experience within America, but the fact is, since it's coming out of a studio, which is run by white people, if they're just getting paid off of it.
So okay, well, let me ask the question, and if being that these projects and stuff is being funded by you're saying white people or white money, does that mean that they're pretty much in line with the message? I mean, obviously they're funding it, so how do you feel about that? If they're funding it and this message, they're putting this message out there, does that mean they're in line with it?
I don't think they give a damn about the message. Maybe it's maybe it's a few that do. Maybe it's a few that have a lighthearted consciousness about it. But I don't think they give a damn about the message. It's the hot topic of the day.
Right.
Black people are talking about liberation. Hey, let's make money off of that too.
Okay, so well maybe it's I won't say that they don't care because I mean, well, like the establishment would care. I'll say it might be one of these things where do you remember Hot 97, radio station, New York City, back when the Locks, no, what was that? Diddy, when the Benjamins came out. Now, it was a short period of time where in that verse that Sheik spit where he mentioned, what did he say? How did it go? Stack chips like Hebrews. And Hebrews was never blanked out on the station. Probably because when you put stacked chips like Hebrews, I guess no one really understood what it was at the time. And then when they understood exactly what it meant, then they started blurting it out. I'm wondering if now, these studios probably don't understand what the fuck woke is right now. They're supporting this woke content, right? And they really don't understand what it is. By the time they do catch up to it, then they might put a blur on it, if you understand what I'm saying. How y'all feel about that?
Man, they understand it, man. They totally understand it. Not to give them too much credit, too much power, but man, it's a game of chess, and they always like 10 to 15 steps ahead of us. But it's almost like they pulling our card. Like, you know what? I'll exploit even when you are trying to wake up, because you still ain't gonna do nothing about it. What you gonna do about it?
Well, I kind of agree. I feel like this. I feel like, especially in an industry where content is the product that you're selling, if there wasn't a market for it, you still wouldn't hear about this shit. The fact that people are buying it, they're selling it more and more and more. I think there might be a few that care, but it's more about the bottom line. I think if Black Panther tanked, we wouldn't be having more content. That shit would have died right then and there. He wouldn't have been in Avengers. I can tell you that much. You know what I mean?
All right, so
he would have been in the visions of the movie. He would have been in
all right, so again, like you bring up Black Panther again, right? But now in Black Panther, I could see why that type of film would be supported, because Killmonger was he died in there. Think about that message. They didn't allow for Killmonger to survive and get what he wanted, what he saw to come to fruition. But we're talking about an Insecure, or what was the other show that you mentioned?
Dear White People.
Dear White People.
Dear White People, yeah.
All right, so in these shows, these messages, and the consciousness, like Issa Rae, like she in that show, I think she wore her hair natural pretty often in that show, right? Yeah. Like so I mean, again, so these are white dollars supporting this stuff, right? So. I mean, don't you think that would be kind of dangerous?
There got to be a market, because it took a long time, and I'm talking about Black Panther the movie, not necessarily the content yet. And the fact that if people didn't buy the tickets, if people didn't support Issa Rae, or at least Insecure and all of that stuff, that market would be dead or would be dying. I'm saying that people had to buy the shit or buy into it for them to be like, all right, I'm gonna start funding more, and started growing that business more. I'm saying like there's one show now, one movie out now called Sorry to Bother You, right? Which is by Boots Riley, which I don't know if you ever know him. He used to be in this rap group called The Coop back in the day, which talked a lot of that conscious shit. Like he talked about a lot about anti-capitalism and everything else. And I really think, because there's a link between him and Get Out. And like there was even a tweet where Jordan Peele, the one that did Get Out, shouted him out and gave him props. I think if Get Out didn't do so good, Sorry to Bother You wouldn't be getting any play. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the market had to be there, period. Like, I don't think they care necessarily about the message being said as much as if we could sell it, if we could give it to somebody, if there's a market to actually do it, because that's the business of entertainment, more or less.
But is that the history? Is that history in this country where this establishment would take that risk? Because I mean, when you start talking about Black consciousness, right? Now you're starting to talk about tapping into an area of Black people's brains that they may not have been in touch with for a while. Like when you start talking about what we identify with, like our own culture and stuff like that, you start putting shit like that out on mainstream, Say again.
Because you got the '80s. You got the '80s where hip hop. When we talked about Public Enemy, we talked about X Clan. We talked about that. We had the '80s where there was a string of people that were being put out and that were making money. I think we talked about in hip hop issue that changed roughly around like NWA.
Right, but and again, back to.
But I feel like they had the privilege of novelty, and I would say who said that earlier point, like because it's new and then they haven't picked up on it yet.
And that's my point. The pickup part is what I'm talking about. With I referenced the whole chic and the stack chips like Hebrews, supporting something because you think there's a dollar in it, and then you realize, holy shit, it's more toxic in your mind, more toxic than we first thought. We got to do something about it. So now we start blurting out Hebrews.
Well, I mean, that might go back to the Killmonger thing then, because I think like if you talk about certain kinds of consciousness, because I'm gonna say it easy, like when I mentioned dead white people in Issa Rae, that's lightweight. Like honestly, that consciousness in there is nothing like when we talk about like a Umar Johnson or a Brother Polite, is no way near the same level.
Right.
So it's very lightweight, kind of mainstream liberal thinking in it. You know what I mean? So it's not. I mean, I would agree. Maybe it's new as far as them putting it out and seeing what hits, but I still think there is limits that they got.
Well, I'm just saying, dude.
It could even be a thing. It could even be a thing to where they put it out just to see our reaction, just to see our response. You know, does it move them in a way that's that we don't like? You know, or are they still asleep? You know, certain things are just a chess move out there. And just speaking specifically about those writers, you know, we're not in power right now. So we creeping up through the industry or whatnot, coming into roles as writers or whatnot, and directing or whatnot. But until we get into those roles of power, you know what I'm saying, where we really see a change.
Yeah, I feel like it's digestible. My problem is this digestible liberation. Like it's digestible. To me, there's no huge difference between the whole blaxploitation era with Superfly and all that, and what's happening now. I mean, yes, they kind of was built off stereotypes, but for the most part, it's not a dramatic difference. I mean, other than the fucking production value, the production value is better than it was like back in the day. But for the most part, it's still like, oh, this blackness is such a novelty. Like it's still untouched. You know what? We need to make them human now. Like even though it's like, yo, come on, man, get out of here. This digestible. It's so trite. Most of the information is so trite. Now I'm just like, all right, is this woke? Or is this something I could read in a fucking Dr. Seuss children's book? Right. Or I could see a fucking a Snapple fact. Oh, Martin Luther King died in 1968. Okay, thanks.
So do you think it's more about diluting the conscious mind more than anything?
Yeah, it's mostly like a dilution, because it's not really doing it doesn't shake the establishment structure. Like it doesn't. All it is like, oh, we see Issa Rae with natural hair, cool. Oh, look, we see Barack Obama. Oh, great. Yeah, but it's still the overall prevailing system is still the fucking same.
So then let me ask another question. Do y'all think there is something to be taken away from the representation period, for the fact like, all right, you had the blaxploitation period, then that tanked for a little bit, then you had nothing, and then you had more stereotypes built off for more white voices, that now you have slightly more diversity than you had with the blaxploitation era. You have more content makers, not necessarily on the financial end, but at least as far as the creative work, that it's still, when we're talking about the younger generation anyway, that is something that could still be taken away. Because I would say some of that blaxploitation era, especially when you go back to maybe like Shaft, kind of maybe built some of the mind state that came in now, where people had some sense of themselves outside of what white people were telling you that you were.
That's true. The symbolism is great for the youth. The symbolism is great, but the problem is we're not a threat, and we're not viewed as a threat because we don't have an economic. We don't have industry. We don't have certain things set up so where they're like, you know what? I don't want to fuel these guys because they represent a true threat to, you know, the dominant society. So what we're seeing is them dealing with a level of we're dealing with a level of consciousness, but we're not dealing with revolution, which we actually should be dealing with.
I tell you what, I'm gonna be honest. I like it, man. And because if it's a trend, if it's something that's going to come and go like everything does nowadays, then let's just hope that the imagery and stuff that's being put out inspires however many it can inspire before the shit disappears. You know what I mean? And then we got more individuals start thinking about their own identity. Just to start thinking about it. I mean, I like black celebrities. I like a lot of the stuff that they represent. Yeah, some of these motherfuckers say some off the wall shit, but if you don't have anything else to see, like I don't see anything wrong with like a black celebrity being someone that you look up to, and if you start putting more of those black celebrities in roles where that does well.
Tyler Perry?
Okay. Let me just finish this point, and then I'm gonna let you go ahead and go a little deep into that, because I want to make sure that there wasn't anything that I said that I don't want to confuse. Because Tyler Perry's an interesting individual. I just like the idea of putting more of us on big screen TV, whatever, and positive lights, and having individuals who really are not in touch with their identity, or don't even know what their identity is, don't adopt to anything. They can start seeing some stuff and maybe start triggering. But I'm fumbling because I need you to get back to Tyler Perry, man. What were you saying, man? What'd you say about Tyler Perry now?
Oh no, you were saying it's good to see that imagery of black people on film, but I said even like a Tyler Perry, because I know people have mixed views about a Tyler Perry.
But I'm gonna say this to throw it out real quick, because that I think maybe kind of goes back to your point of not having a lot of people that produce shit. Like I don't like the content. I don't like a high majority of the content that he puts out, but he's employing black people. He got his own studio. He's doing a lot of power moves. Otherwise, as a black man and keeping it mainly black, that I can't be too mad at that at all.
But I keep flip flopping, because yes, he has gained power, but what's his consciousness like? And if his consciousness is not aligned with ours, or if it's not for the betterment of our people,
listen,
maybe
that power.
I'm not gonna completely throw fucking Tyler Perry in the garbage. I feel like he's catering to a specific demographic. I could tolerate a Tyler Perry quicker than a Lee Daniels. That's how I'll tell you.
I think they're in the same boat.
No, wait,
hold on. Okay.
Let's go in.
Here's the thing with Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels. I won't put them. I think Tyler's a little, because I don't think even though now he's starting to engage in some of this questionable content, now, at least it seems like he's trying to spoon feed us with the content. All right, do you guys watch any of his shows? I'm talking about like his soap opera shit. Do you watch any of this stuff?
I know I say this all the time, but I mean it when I say it. My wife watches it,
Copy.
And I brush through
Let's
it.
stick to that story. Listen, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Go ahead. So
He watches it.
well, which because I ain't gonna front. I'm gonna tell you the shows that Tyler Perry, like he got what's that shit? Have and have nots.
Okay.
I know.
And
because my wife.
So.
But yes, go.
Well, that show, I actually watched that show. I actually watch it. I've been watching it like since season 1, and that's what I mean about the gradual shit. Where now, a lot of stuff that he's doing, is makes me a little uncomfortable, in the way that he's doing it. But this is like four years, I think, 4 seasons or something like that. So 4 years are going on, and he's really just starting to get into this graphic shit. Where Lee Daniels, on the other hand, like the minute he got a chance to put Empire, a show on, what's that, Fox or whatever, he just lost his mind, man. He lost his mind. He went as creative as so I just kind of think Tyler Perry is not that bad. He might be getting there, but when Tyler Perry takes his dress off, right? When he takes his dress off, he's not doing the Medea shit. You know, I can kind of tolerate him a bit. He was in, you know, Why Did I Get Married, 1 and 2, and you know stuff.
But that's another thing, because I kind of think that maybe, even though, like, I think we're talking about a specific part when we're talking about Lee Daniels. I think everybody's talking about a specific part when they're talking about Lee. But at the same time, I think because I watched Tyler Perry when he used to do the plays, because I actually liked the plays when he used to do the plays, because it was a specific niche. It was a specific. I didn't mind that at all. When you start getting to the movies, though, I started seeing a lot of trends as far as selling the drama or selling a specific aspect of the black culture, which I found, like, when we go back to the black exploitation days, I kind of feel like it's more tied to that than most of the other stuff we talked about, because now you're selling the drama because you know you're going to make money that way.
Well, what is okay? So when you say like what content is he putting out that you think is exploiting, you know? But
so you're talking about, okay, Why Did I Get Married? You talk about well, you talked about Why I Didn't Get Married. If you think just because he didn't have it, I was saying just because he didn't have a dress. Okay. And anything in between that, it was a lot of division between. Well, even though they find out at the end, it's usually some division between the black man and the black woman, some kind of dishevelment in the black family, and it's always constantly that black people are going to be in a worse position, or in a bad position, or even when you're in a good position, there's still some division within the black people that you have to kind of always have, like most of his put it like this, because I used to watch some of the TV shows when he first came out too, because I think they have funny people in it. So I used to watch like Meet the Pains or House of Pain, I think it was called back then, and Meet the Browns. And it was always some level of drama. I remember, and it was supposed to be a comedy. One of the in House of Pain, one of the people were on crack. Like, the mom was on crack, and out of nowhere, like, one time she was good, then next thing you know, she's living in a crack house. I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? So it seemed like they were just like, oh, we gotta throw this in there, and like, there's no real clear reason behind it besides selling drama. Like, if you're trying to go somewhere, if you try to teach something, I could get that. But when you're just selling drama, I kind of find like that is making the issue a little bit more mentally. You're kind of creative, but kind of distance. I
don't think that's universal though. In general, wouldn't you say a lot of other things try to sell drama? Like Dr. Phil tries to sell drama.
I don't watch Dr. Phil. Yeah, I agree. And that's where the money is. That's
okay. So I don't have an. I mean that's a genre. So I don't have an issue with the drama. But the thing is, you're saying there's like really no reason for it. I would ask like specifically for that situation with the crackhead. But you said the mother was a crackhead. How did they address the situation? Like, how is she married? Because first of all, I don't even watch.
It was a comedy. They made jokes about this shit. They made jokes about her smoking crack, and eventually she, I think, got off of it, got the family together. But it was fun. They made it fun.
That's interesting. I've never gotten the impression that that's the type of shit that Tyler Perry puts out. I would have to see an episode like that to kind of do it myself. But
I didn't do it.
But that was like when it first came out. Like, that was maybe like within the second or third season, I would say, of that show.
And about it.
So
that was when he first started going into TV more. So I think that was one of the first shows he ever put out.
Maybe he had some pressure.
So let me ask you guys. Let me ask you guys this. So speaking specifically on Tyler Perry, do you guys question maybe his intent at times with what he's trying to portray? Or is he trying to portray a certain thing and it's just not hitting, it's not sticking because maybe he needed better writers back then, like G was saying. Maybe he has better writers now.
Better writers and more freedom now. Like he could have had some pressure to. Well, because the interesting thing is when I first got wind of Tyler Perry, he was doing the plays, and I can remember at the end of one of these plays. He was talking about the idea of going to do film and TV and stuff. And he made it clear on that DVD that wasn't something that he was going to do. He kind of saw it as being like a selling out type thing. and he was like, we're gonna do this, independent. We're gonna get this, and we're going. So I don't know if somebody, offered him a huge bag of money or an opportunity or whatever, but like maybe a year or two after that, you started to see the Madea movies and stuff. I don't have an issue, with the fact that he may have taken some money to kind of, get to that next level or whatever. As long as once you, like, say your contract period's over and you're a free agent again, you go out there and you put out some quality stuff. And I think that he does. See, I think he has a good balance. I'm not going to say that he doesn't. I think he has a good, but I'm saying a good balance. And
put it like this, like I would say with the has and have not, even though I'm not into the show. My wife watches it. I would say it's better than most of the stuff because he has another one that's out on the same channel called For Better or For Worse, which I've seen maybe like 1 or 2 scenes, which is horrible. It's a
For better or for worse?
It's like, see, this shit's gonna make it seem like
They just give it up, man. The people already know, man. The people know, man. The people already know. Matter of fact, watch what I do. Since you're gonna get ready to explain, your history with Tyler Perry shows and stuff. Let me give you your own tiles so the folks can see you. Loud and clear. Go ahead. I'm already done it. Okay. All right, let me take you off then. All right, sorry. Go ahead. So go ahead and finish.
Nah, because I forgot what I was going to say now.
The shows that he has on OWN, like, and on OWN, the soap opera like shows or whatever, those drama type. Again, I'm allowing him to be creative. I don't have a problem with his creativity, so to speak. Just some of the images he can do without. He's getting a little. He's pushing it. He's pushing the bar a little bit more, especially this season.
Can we just put the gayness out there, because I know that's what everybody is kind of going.
Not so. Okay, here's the thing.
Oh, that's what
not so much.
All
right,
I mean, when y'all
folks.
Daniels, that's what I thought everybody tiptoeing around. Really?
I was tiptoeing. I brought up Lee Daniels because I felt like as soon as he came out the gate, he was doing that negative fucking black shit. Like, I felt like Tyler Perry and shit, they had some redeemable aspects. Like, Precious was crazy. Even though I think he might have produced it. Empire is just like a whole bunch of like shenanigans. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel like Lee Daniels, there's like not really that many redeemable aspects. Whereas even with Tyler Perry, where he wears a dress, Madea be saying some deep shit, even in the worst movies. I'm like, yo, that's a deep ass fucking line. Because I've seen some of them shits in theater. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I'm fucking botched.
But let's watch this. It's like, when we're judging what's good content, is that kind of subjective according to who you ask? Because if a lot of these guys are just saying, hey, if they're just saying, I'm just showing the reality of the black community, and I want you to see that and take that however you take it. But some people may take that as, hey, you just continuously perpetuating the negativity. I mean, it's a matter of who you ask.
Well, I mean, you can continue to so-called perpetuate, but again, that's why I say, as long as you address it, it's addressed in a positive manner. Like, for instance, Denzel does not do movies. All right, so take Training Day, for instance. Denzel made it clear that he wasn't going to do Training Day unless there was a message in it. You understand? So you can go ahead and you can tote that line. You can go ahead and put that stuff out there, but as long as there's some kind of a message, and I think he does, or he had done a good job of that. I, specifically, am just not comfortable with the way that he is flirting around with the, like the guys are gay on the show, but that's fine. But like all of this extra like love scenes and stuff, like they just don't. I don't see the purpose of it. You know what I'm saying? And he's been strict.
It's a purpose. It's a purpose.
That kind of dies to it. Like, I think a lot of it's selling certain imagery because it's gonna pull certain people in.
Pull certain people like who? Pull certain people like who, DP? Because if just the fact that they're gay,
I'm pretty sure gay people.
But they're on the show. They're on the show. Like, they're gay. They're character.
But like, no, just like how you say, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but just like how you say that, you're doing certain things, you don't see why. I think that's the purpose. The purpose is the more graphic you go, the more you're gonna pull people in, whether good or bad. You know what I mean? It's just, that's the same thing I was saying with selling drama. You're always constantly adding drama to the fact that it's going to draw people in. And if that's a marketing tool, that's what.
Oh, then that's where I'm going to start to have a problem with him.
But that is my personal reason why I kind of don't get into it. Same thing where Andy was talking about with Empire is constantly selling that drama. Same thing you could talk about with Scandal. Same thing you could talk about with How to Get Away with Murder. It's selling constant drama because that's what draws people in. That's what they know it was coming in. I think what we're talking about now, going back to the original topic, is that people are probably treating consciousness or wokeness the same way as they treated drama. Basically, now you put more wokeness in, and you're drawing them in. You know what I mean?
And it's not necessarily fulfilling the real obligation of reaching a consciousness. It's rather just like some digestible McDonald's fucking consciousness. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's something that's pre-packaged and they're selling it to you saying that, oh, okay, if you're into this, then that means you're for the culture, which is not necessarily for the case. It's basically a corporation trying to sell you a product and they're telling you, we want you to buy this product en masse. So, oh my gosh, we got to make this a cultural explosion. Like, I was angry in Black Panther when people were wearing like guards from Nigeria and wherever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm looking at niggas, I'm like, yo, this movie, yo. So it's like, yo, come on, man. It's the fucking Lion King for adults, the fucking Marvel fucking shit in the background, man. Get out of here with that shit. I want real consciousness. And I feel like, yeah, there's certain instances, I feel like the imagery that comes with it is like 20%, but there's like 80% that you gotta do, whether it be actualizing it, you having a catalyst, you being in control of your own narrative, and that's what really counts in the end of the day. Fuck out of here with that fucking, oh, look, I just see us in here. I don't give a fuck about seeing us here. We all over the place. If you look close enough in fucking history, we all over the fucking place. So, oh yeah, I'm just not over it, man. I'm not. I want to be involved.
What I like about it is that you can hear woke from the mouths of I don't say young people like teenage, but you can hear it from the mouths of people who also identify with the term, let's say, wavy. Right? Like if you ask somebody what's the wavy mean and you define it, oh yeah, that sounds cool, yeah, I'm wavy. But if you say woke, right, and you define woke, motherfuckers, typically you would think they would not identify with that, but they are. And that's what I like about it. That's what I like about it. Because motherfuckers say woke, and it's a cool term, So again, there's some trendy shit. Again, I'm being honest, it's trendy. It's trendy and it may...
Hey, it's a part of the conversation now.
Man,
it's definitely a part of the
you know what I would hope though, because I find it being problematic. If I was to take like a episode of Dear White People, because I watch Dear White People.
I gotta watch that because I haven't.
Look,
in the second season though, there was an episode that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, right? Because there was an episode where one of the main characters, she's smart. She's I think a medical student. And she's in a medical class where there was only one other black person, a black dude there. And they vibed. It's clear throughout the episode that they're both smart. They start vibing with each other, start dating each other. He starts showing her things like about the secret societies within the campus and all this other stuff. Then she starts seeing like certain signs about him, because I guess on the show they have like this part where they do mock TV shows. And one of the mock TV shows is actually off an Empire. So they got a gay person on the TV screen that everybody's sitting around watching, and he said something about a fag, whatever, and she took it the wrong way, and then she started seeing signs and to find out that he's Hotep, so to speak, and just based off of that fact, mind you, they vibing the whole time, but basically off that fact, she like, oh, you a Hotep dude, I can't fuck with you no more, right? They pretty much had an argument. And I was like, yo, why do if you vibing on everything else, right? And you might have some kind of philosophical, issues, but y'all vibing up to this point. Why is the one division that? Why is the one division? Because this dude has a different kind of consciousness than you might have on this kind of consciousness, which kind of goes back to what I'm thinking right now. Like when you talk about Killmonger and Black Panther, like two different kinds of black consciousness. That there has to automatically be a division within that consciousness, like it automatically has to separate people.
Nah, because I feel like because of that whole this corporate definition of woke, I feel like, and this fake inclusion to me is trying to create uniformity. It's trying to make passive conformity. Like they'll be like, oh well, yeah, okay, you have this, you have that, but then I really like you. But in the end of the day, it's like if there'll be like something on minute fucking detail, they'll be like, fuck out of here. I'm not gonna. I don't like that. That's why I watch that fucking show.
Well,
that's why.
If we go back to Lee Daniels for a second. I also don't want to compare the two because of the recent news about Dame Dash checking him at some award show or something about the $2 million that he owes him, and I thought that was like the greatest thing ever, man. And when I was hearing about it, I didn't realize that they actually had footage of it. When I saw the footage, and then somebody had a lip reader and they put the caption at it, that was great TV, man. But Lee Daniels he's a scumbag, bro. For a few different reasons, man. For a few different reasons, man. When you let
Let me throw these two examples out. Let me throw these two examples out specifically of their work. If I'm not mistaken, I think the two of these guys were involved with these two projects. Some of the most outrageous films that the black communities have seen within like the last 10 to 12 years. Precious and For Colored Girls. I don't know if you guys saw those two films. I kind of want to dig into your thoughts because some people say that that was outrageous. That should have never been shown on the big screen. You aired our dirty laundry out to the world. They already look at us negative, and now they look at us even more negative. And other people said that, hey, this was just our reality. They're putting it out there. It was art to put out there to show, hey, this is where some of us are at. We need to address some of these problems. What do you guys feel?
But is there nothing redeemable in those realities? That's what I don't like. Like every aspect of those realities is this destitution, deplorability, horrible fucking bullshit. That's my only problem. And then it also consistent about the work he put out. If you're gonna have different kinds of work, and then all right, so Ryan Coogler had Fruitvale Station. I was like, oh, okay, damn, the black dude dies, even though it's a real story shit. That's kind of fucked up. But he had Creed. He has Black Panther. There's like 3 different kinds of works. But
everybody's not well-rounded like that, Andy. Everybody.
What do you mean well-rounded? Lee Daniels. All right, so why don't we talk about some of his history? You mentioned Precious, but let's go back. He's also done what was that? A Shadow Boxer with Cuba Gooding Jr., which I don't think really wasn't that good of a movie. I didn't like it that much. But I want to say this.
It looked like that was his first.
Actually, his first film out the box was The Woodsman, and that was the movie with Kevin Bacon, and he was a pedophile, right? So again, I'd say Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels. I'm not putting them on par because I feel a little bit. And then with this new shit, The Woodsman. Dame Dash fronted you this bread. He saw something in you, man. Fronted you this money, man. And you got it. That's the thing that's fucked up about it. You got it.
Hold on. Lee Daniels ain't my boy, but I ain't letting Tyler. All those years of dressing up in my
once you take the dress, you gotta take the dress off. Once you take the dress off, like I mentioned 2 movies that I saw him in that he did his acting I enjoyed his acting in the Why Did I Get Married movie, especially and I had been married like maybe a couple of years at that point, right? So it was a good movie, but there was no dress.
That movie touched you personally. That's what that was. That was a movie.
I like that movie too. I'm not even married. I don't like that movie.
It was good. And there was bullshit mixed in between, but it was real. It didn't seem like something that was. It seemed pretty genuine, and it wasn't really. It wasn't exploiting anything. It was really just telling some truth.
Well, I'm gonna put it like this. I don't think you could separate Tyler Perry
from the dress. Okay.
That kind of brought him there. Not to say anyway, because to be honest with you, I would probably watch a Madea doing before him because there's funny parts, but I also kind of realized that's me personally. That it's kind of a minstrel show aspect to it in the back of my head. That's like a guilty pleasure for me. It's one of them things where, all right, there might be funny points here, so I'm gonna watch it here and there. But then, I can separate the bullshit from regular entertainment.
Here's the thing, though, Dane. You can, but what about those kids that are at home without parents or don't have fathers like us to explain those things to them? Can they separate the difference between the two when their mothers
that's one thing I see always about entertainment is that the fact is always a disconnect. Like we could talk about the wokeness in it, and I could see it being an awareness to a certain point. I could see it being somebody like we mentioned Black Panther a couple of times. Like Black Panther could be an enlightening thing for a little kid, but there's nobody on the other end to push them a little bit more to that positivity or to certain mind states, then the shit don't matter. It just become a regular show, and those influences take over them whichever way it's going to be. You know what
Listen, I don't think that Tyler Perry ever has to do a Madea movie again. He's put on the dress. I said no.
He will.
To see, the thing is, if he continues to do it, then that's the problem. I understand.
That's
listen.
Gee, the man loves
his dresses. Oh, let him wear his dresses.
Look, since he's had.
Why you gotta put on a dress to be? You don't have to put on a dress to be funny, man.
Madea Halloween. He has done that, and not the man. Look, I'm not saying that he did it because I really do believe that he cares about his core audience, and I think he did that kind of for his core audience. You know what I mean? Which he's kind of giving his fans. I get it. And I dig it, but I think you can't separate the two. You could just like certain parts, like you could separate a lot of shit. Like if we talk about between entertainers and entertainment, or we talk about specific works, I'm with it. You like Why Did I Get Married? Andy likes Why Did I Get Married? That's cool, that's fine, but you can't not separate the fact that the dress is what brought that nigga.
And I said, I'm not gonna knock him for like it wouldn't be a choice I would make, right? But again, I ain't a billionaire neither. He wound up taking that shot and became a billionaire behind it, right? So whatever, you don't need to do it anymore, is what I'm saying. And you especially don't need to make or have these scenes in your shows where it's just why do they have to be making love on the couch? Why do they have to be have these two men have to be having sex on the couch? Why? What? Why? We know the two of them are gay. We know they're involved in some kind of a relationship, right? Why you gotta actually put them on the couch and do that? Why?
Because it's about inclusion. Everything nowadays is about inclusion. Like every show. But let me ask another question. No.
Listen to me.
Are you ready? Are you done? You got it out? You able to think? You got it out? Look, I'm saying it like this, and I'm not saying it's supporting it. I'm saying what I'm giving you is what the reason is the fact that he has that both ways. I'm pretty sure I don't watch a show that heavy where there's sex scenes between heterosexual folk, right? So now it's the fact is that I want to bring in these other people because everything is about inclusion. Ava DuVernay, that's what I think is her main thing is about inclusion. It's about bringing in white people, black people, gay people. It's about bringing in this whole thing. She didn't even said as much. You know what I mean? And I kind of feel that's the same thing.
No, watch this shit. You watch Queen Sugar. You watch Queen Sugar. Queen Sugar.
Did I watch that?
All right.
I do watch Queen Sugar, yeah.
What's that? What's Queen Sugar?
Jesus.
But before you bring up Queen Sugar, also remember that she did that last year, Wrinkle in Time, which she specifically said.
No, it's not. This what I have a problem with the inclusion, right? It's just her strategy is completely different from the strategy that Tyler Perry is using right now, and especially. And let me go a step further. The minute it seemed like she was getting pressure from certain individuals about certain stuff she was putting on the show, if you know what I'm talking about, it was like in the first season, The Sun Blue, the little boy, Ralph Angel's son, right? There was a scene where he and the mother and Blue, they were in a restaurant, and he walks around with that fucking Barbie doll, right? And the waiter kind of suggested, yeah, why don't you put that down? You don't want to get yourself like a Tonka truck or some shit, he said. And but you understand what that interaction was about. You ain't seen nothing like that since. She went towards it, right? I don't even think it was received well by the audience, because it wasn't received well by me. I don't think listen, you gave him a doll, let him have it. Let him have it, and let the viewers decide what that means. But when you go a little further and actually have a scene where there's a waiter trying to get him to put this doll down for something more masculine, right? You're going a little too deep into this. I don't think he needs to do that. Oh, I'm sorry. Ava. That was Ava's decision. She went that far, and after that, she hasn't done anything like that since.
But then, why do you think?
I just took.
Because there's an audience.
No, it may be an audience, and it also may be that I don't. Tyler Perry's never said he was gay, right? But he never said he was gay, right? But
he wears that dress more for professional needs.
It's okay. So he had an itch that needed to be scratched, and the only way he could do it and get it to go over well was to put it in the frame of a character. He probably, right? So let's just say
because I thought about this earlier. Because the fact is, like Jay-Z, right? I think I was listening to the Black Album maybe like Friday. And that one song, I think it's Moment of Truth, where he said that basically if truth sold, truth be told, lyrically I beat Talib Kweli. Right? And then he goes on later to say, I wanted to rhyme like common sense. I made 50 mil, I ain't rhyme like common sense. Right? And I thought about that, and I thought about 444. Because my thing with that, after he said that one line, ever since he said that one line and had that album, I always thought, why can't you speak on it now, right? Because you got the money. You don't need the money. You could start speaking on more shit than the shit you always been talking about, but he dropped multiple albums in between that where he talked about the same shit. And then you have 444, which I think, to me, is an album that should have been after he actually made that statement, because you had the opportunity to. You could talk about black business. You could talk about black families and some of the other stuff that we need that's opposite what you actually do. So my question is, why did he do that? Why did he do those albums in between those two?
Because I don't even mean to interrupt. I'm so sorry, Dave. But because woke is commercialized now. We're in a climate now where it's profitable for you to drop those kind of albums. And honestly, I'm going to say it's attributed to Kendrick, but that's a long-winded theory why I think so. But now that's why he came out with that album now, because it's trendy. Back in the day, post-Black album, it wasn't trendy like that. It wasn't.
So going back to that point, and I know this is going maybe cause the situation where I want to get away from a little bit, is the fact that if that is trendy, and you see gayness kind of coming up in the hemisphere a little bit, in as far as TV and entertainment, then can you put two together? This is where the market is going. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go where the market is.
What I'm saying is, Tyler Perry has characters who are gay on the show. I think that should be enough, right? Why do you have to go that extra step to sex scenes? And we're talking about regular TV. Well, I mean, I guess OWN is considered a cable channel, but I mean, it has fucking commercials, right? So the era I came from, people ain't curse on TV. People ain't have sex on TV. You understand?
Ever since that show Oz. Ever since that show Oz used to be on, that's it. Kind of throughout listen, I was watching the show, Mr. Robot, first season of Mr. Robot. Right? There's a guy on there who is kind of like manipulative kind of guy. He tries to, play old angles and do various things for it. One of them, I guess, he tried to mess with this guy to do it. and the scene was somewhere else. Then it flipped to a scene where you see dude fucking him in the bed for no fucking reason at all. So I'm there with you. I'm like, this shit make no sense. Why would you put it in there besides to make it graphic? And I realize it's just because the shit sells. I agree with you.
What I'm saying is, who else are you? What I'm saying is, who else are they inviting to the screen? Like, who else they inviting to the party? They're already the people are already gay, right? So now you add the sex scene. What other crowd are you trying to attract now?
I'm saying graphicness, the same thing that you're asking about sells. The graphic.
Oh, so it's not enough just to have the gay characters. Now they gotta be up here. They gotta be up here doing. Gotta be able to fucking in order for it to bring the.
Hey, it's all about them catering to that market, making money off of that market. But let's look at this as well too. These guys are just like artists, and this is their art, this is their expression. The problem becomes when it's only two guys that we're arguing about, and we don't have 20 to 30 black directors, so we can get the full black spectrum. So we're getting a very narrow spectrum from the spectrum that they want to give us, and now it represents the black voice or the black world for the rest of the world, and that's when it becomes a problem.
Put it like this: the thing where I could probably appreciate Tyler Perry more is because we have maybe Issa Rae and Ryan Coogler and all these other different voices, because now there is a choice for everybody. Now you can break away and see different black experiences where it's not just this one voice. Like if it was just Tyler Perry, I probably would be a little bit more awkward in how I feel about it. But like I said, I could separate because I have that choice. Other people have that choice of black experience on television.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, he's never said he was gay or whatever, but honestly, I wouldn't even have had those types of thoughts about Tyler Perry had he never had this Medea character. Do you guys think he has, like, you know, would you like thought that maybe he was gay?
Well, he said he was
okay, but I'm talking. That's new though. That's new information. That's not something that has been out for that long. He just recently put that out this year, right? Wasn't there like a interview?
Nah, that's old.
Well, there was an interview that.
I want to say he did it when he became friends with Oprah, because I remember hearing stuff like.
Oh no! What I'm thinking about is recently he talked about the struggles with his father. That's what it was. The man with the abuse and all that stuff. But I'm. If Ryan Coogler, Issa Rae, or I'm thinking about some more of the male like directors or producers or whatever could go out and put out content without exploring that other bullshit, then Lee Daniels, well, forget Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry could do it as well. Because like I said, I've seen plenty of his content out there, and I like a lot of the stuff. Again, he's just tapping in or touching on something, and if you come out and say you're gay, right, then it would make more sense.
So what if it turns out that he's not gay?
No, it doesn't. I don't to go that far. I don't. Inclusion enough is they're in the show. And
he's gay allegedly, guys. Allegedly.
This is what I'm. No. I never said he was gay. I never said. What I'm saying is if he is not gay, then I don't understand the pushing the line the way he is what I'm saying. Lee Daniels made it clear that he's gay, right? And went as far to have, Lee Daniels has gone as far as to have a show where it was almost like sexual assault.
Let me ask you another thing, because I really want to get off of fucking Lee Daniels. I don't want to keep on talking about gayness. I want to go back to the original topic, because I know you got a campaign, and Jay, I already know you to know nobody's gonna say some shit to convince you otherwise, and we're just gonna be wrong. Basically, just going off of your point, though, right?
Subject.
The fact of let's take that hypothetical. Let's say that he is gay, and he's putting out that gayness out there because he's trying to promote it some way, or trying to at least speak maybe his point of view about it in some kind of way. So how does that translate into our original topic with wokeness? Do you believe some people are trying to put out more of a woke narrative out there, or is it just people just marketing it just because it can sell?
And
Is it,
even the over elaborate gay stuff, gay situations, even that's fake because they don't. Again, everybody is just a means of getting. It's just money. You're trying to get money from people. So these people really don't care about what you do, how you do it. Like to me, it's the pandering. It's the pandering to black people. It's the pandering to gay people. There's no real inclusion. There's no real wokeness, whatever. It's more about like, all right, man, we just want money from these niggas. We don't really give a fuck. We don't. That's how I look at it as. It's a
Well,
trend.
let's look at this. You know, the confusion just in that word alone. Because what's woke to me may not be what's woke to you, and what's woke to him may be that hey, you know what? Black homosexuality within the black community is a real issue. And I'm saying if I'm him, and I represent that, I want to represent this to the world. I want the world to be woke to the reality of black homosexuality, and because he controls the narrative,
you don't have to have two men on a couch. So I mean that's my only issue. You don't have to going that far. Just makes it super duper weird for me, man. But it does. But
no, I listen. I don't disagree with any of your point. I guess what I was trying to do was trying to make you maybe understand why. I mean, it could be your reason, quite possibly. But if he doesn't come out with it, I can't go by that reason until he actually comes out with it. But what I'm saying is like when we talk about the entertainment industry, if the shit doesn't sell within the entertainment industry, you're not going to see a fluctuation of it, or you're not going to see a continuation of it. Like when that shit goes out there, people are going to put it out there, and sometimes it's a matter of the way you put it out there. And I like you mentioned, Ava DuVernay, like everybody has a different voice and different ways of putting it out there. Sometimes people make decisions based on that, where they're going to pull it back or they're going to put it out there more, depending on who they brought it. If I was to give you an example, because I found this about Bill Cosby, which I thought was highly interesting, which I don't think I give him much credit for, was back when he did a Cosby Show, that he actually hired a black psychologist to help co-write a lot of the show. So basically everything that he put out there had a positive image to it when it comes to the black culture. He made conscious decisions to actually do that, even to the point where when I think on Theo's wall, on one of the scenes, he had a anti-apartheid poster on there, and the people were the network executives wanted him to take it off, and he was like, "I'm not going to take it off. If you're going to take it off, you might as well take the show off the air." And he made that clear conscious decisions to actually do that.
That's real wokeness. That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I think. Like a lot of people are not going to do that. They're going to do enough to
understand.
Just enough to sell.
The banality. That's what it is. It's like the banality of the information. Like people are gonna put out the dear white people is gonna be banal information. The insecure is gonna be banal information. Like they're gonna say typical talking points that you'll probably hear in MSNBC. I'm like, these are the woke people. These are the people who say they are woke. Like fuck out of here. Like I want real enlightenment, real black enlightenment. Not no fucking woke bullshit.
You know what that eventually says to me? That we have to gain structure, meaning we can't just let anyone become a director and control the narrative of our people. If you're gonna become a director, we need to stand with that person and say, hold up, these are the type of images that you're gonna put out to our people, because we're already dealing with a lot. We can't have you making things worse. We gotta gain power.
Now you can do that shit. Now that shit sound like some fucking communism fucking.
Hey, that's what it is. Too much freedom, man. Too much freedom.
You can't force anybody to do it.
Hey, this is what too much freedom does, and we're complaining about it right now. You gotta hold people accountable. You gotta gain some type of structure.
I mean, to go back to Dane's point for a minute, because I'm gonna jump off this right after this little point here, because I'm real sick of it. Tyler Perry has the ability to put out great content, great work that that shows inclusion, right? But doesn't have to have all that extra graphic shit up there. That's all I'm saying, dude. And if someone is doing that, that would be the only reason that I would start, stop watching his stuff, because it's getting a little too out of the way. Just like what happened for fucking Lee Daniels. I don't watch Empire. I don't watch any of this stuff that he produces now. And again, especially since this Dame Dash thing come out, we didn't really get to. I wanted to go a little more into that if we could, because that right there is an example of why we are having such a issue now with coming together and doing things. Because when you have a brother like a Dame Dash who sees something in a young director and comes out of his pocket, and because apparently nobody else gave the motherfucker money. Nobody else gave him money, right? He goes to the asshole, the cat with the bad reputation in the music business to get money, because nobody else came to you. Nobody else would assist you, and you turn around, you screw him over. So I would like to talk more about that shit. And when you have people like celebrities where it looks like they're not coming back to the community, or they're not donating or assisting, right? And then you got a situation like this. Like, why would they? Why would they? Why would they take that fucking chance when you got a scumbag like Lee Daniels who would take this investment that was given to him and not pay the shit back? Like, I think we should have talked about this on another topic, but since we brought Lee Daniels up, I figured I had to put that out there. That was just my own personal opinion about that gentleman. But as far as the wokeness and stuff is concerned, and the mainstream, again, like I said, I like a lot of it. I like a lot of it because of the possibility that it would inspire somebody to start doing a little more, think a little more, dig a little deeper into their identity, their culture, stuff like that. And even though these big corporations are jumping on this bandwagon because it's popular, trendy, and they get some money from it, I think it's a dangerous game they're playing, because if the right information gets to the right fucking people, there might be some right changes. But listen, man, folks, if you enjoyed this show, like, share, subscribe, comment. Got my man DB, my man Anyae, Andy, Reality Gurus. Take care.